at will to be in that cosmic inner peace. At will. Not just when karmic conditions are right and your will is full and you can still a racing mind, but at will you can be in that positive state of the presence of God, which is inner peace. That is what we must attain. We must go within ourselves to attain this cosmic peace. We must not just still some outward activity as a restless mind or this outward living, but we must go within oneself or within ourselves to find that cosmic peace, because that's where it is. It does not depend on the cessation of something. It is right within each and every one of us. Our master used to illustrate it with the story of the musk deer. You know, the musk deer has within its navel the musk. And when it grows up, it smells that musk. And so it begins to run hither and yon in search of that which it smells, until finally it crashes over the cliff and is killed, when the musk was right within its own navel. And so that's what we do. We run hither and yon in this outward consciousness, searching for that which is right within ourselves. Right within ourselves, that cosmic inner peace. So remember that little story of the musk deer, which is so wonderful. Our master has said this: so long as man lacks peace within, he will inflict his inner torment on others. His relations with them erupt periodically into arguments and petty feuds, and sometimes into bloodshed. Isn't that what happens? Then he says true peace is of God. It is within himself that man will find peace. Having attained it, he can give it to others. You cannot give any peace or anything to others unless you have it yourself. Do not think you can teach others until you have first touched yourself to contact that inner peace of God. You cannot give it to others. But if you have that contact with God, even then you do not give it to others. God gives it to others through you. But first we have to attain that state. And finally, Master says, he becomes then proof against all disruptive influences, whether outside or within himself. These are wonderful things to remember. Jesus said, first heal thyself. First get that inner balance which comes by contacting the Lord and feeling his inner peace. Abraham said a wonderful thing when he was discussing with Lot about the trouble between the herdsmen of both. He said to Lot, he said, let there be no strife between your herdsman and my herdsman. For are we not all brothers? And so the next time you feel like getting at somebody and giving it to them, stop and think of this little story. And Abraham said, let there be no strife. Are we not all brothers? Which is true. Now Abraham felt that inner peace. Abraham had that great bulwark of God's presence within him, and that's why he was able to change Lot into thinking as he thought, feeling as he thought, feeling that inner peace which he, Abraham, felt. It's a wonderful thing if we can just change our conception from thinking that we do all things into the realization that God is the doer. And if you'll just let him do it, he does a wonderful job. And there's no turmoil or confusion as he does it. There's simply bubbling inner peace. God is the most wonderful, wonderful thing that we can conceive first and then have. As the 14th century saint said, of God no man can think. You can't reason him. But he is easily known and kept by love, by reverence and love. How different from the ordinary way of achieving, with the hustle and bustle, following this business law, that business law, just by affection and love. Really, loving God, giving Him your affection, His inner peace can be known. Now, inner peace is not for the egotistical or the man with pride. Such people, they look to their help from outward consciousness, outward things. And in that there is no inner peace. Once in a while, a little freedom from the turmoil of the mind, as I have pointed out. So the man of pride, he looks the wrong place to attain inner peace. But the humble man, where does he look to? To God. The humble man looks to God as the source of inner peace. And as such, God never forsakes him. God gives him that solace which he cannot attain any other place. And no matter what the aggravation is, the humble man never wavers, because God is with him. You cannot keep from wavering unless you have the presence of God, but the humble shall know God. Having him, he never wavers, no matter what the aggravation is. Think of it. His master told me, he says, saints never lose their calmness. Saints never lose their calmness. And so, those who are egotistical, the mercy reignistical,